All right, there we go. Hello everyone, how's it going? Tim here, and this is BxJS livestream. Finally, we're here to talk about TypeScript and JSDoc. So I wanted to do this last week, but yeah, my life is a bit of a mess right now, and I moved it to this week. So here we are, and what this stream is gonna be about is not, if JSDoc is better than TypeScript. TypeScript is a language, JSDoc is a way to annotate your code to add some better development experience essentially to it, right? To augment the functions, describe them, add the parameters, and so on and so forth. It will not replace TypeScript, obviously. But what it can do is it can augment your JavaScript experience and provide you a way to give a nice development experience to people using your lib without actually migrating to TypeScript when it is not possible, right? So this is kind of the gist of it. And this is what I want to try to test out and see how much better TypeScript is at it, or if it's better at all. Like, I don't know. I haven't tried it before. So this is kind of the idea for it. Hey, Marina, welcome to the stream. All right, so the why I'm not gonna basically compare TypeScript to JavaScript is because, well, there's no reason to, right? So there's, I think I already referenced this study quite a few times. So this is the static versus dynamic languages literature review, which summarizes the research, like formal, proper research that was trying to find out if there's a difference between dynamic and static typed languages, and if there's if statically typed languages fix the bugs that people say they do, and if there's less bugs in statically typed languages rather than in dynamically typed languages, right? So the answer is no, there is not. This is kind of the thing. There is no bugs that can be prevented by statically typed languages that are basically dominating the dynamically typed languages, which means that you most likely are going to get the same type of bugs in both languages, dynamically and statically typed, so that your statically typed language won't save you if you don't have any tests, essentially what I'm saying. Hey, Andre, welcome to the stream. All right. So we're not going to touch on that topic, right? So we're only here to test the development experience. And this is what we're going to be... This is what we're going to be doing. Now, to do that, I've created this monorepo with 4 packages in it. So what we are going to do is, number one, we are going to build a library in JavaScript and in TypeScript. And number two, we're going to build 2 apps that use that library in JavaScript and in TypeScript, right? And we're going to compare how much auto-completion we get, how much type ahead we get. Do we get like suggestions and notices for missing arguments and things like this, basically. Hey, Carlos, welcome to the stream. I do feel somewhat better, thank you for asking, but weather here has been absolute crap in the past couple of weeks, I guess. So even today I had to take some painkillers to actually be able to stream, because this is just, ugh. Man, the global warming is not going well for me. Anyway. So the idea for the libs here is that we're going to take something simple like Pokemon API and make a very simple wrapper. So I want to have something that is relatively simple yet has enough complexity for us to test things. So I want to have functions, I want to have classes, I want to have some class properties, and I want to describe all of that using both TypeScript and JSDoc to see how that compares, right? So we're going to take this Pokemon API, and then we're just gonna run 2 simple packages in JavaScript and TypeScript that are gonna return our Pokemon data that we're gonna query here. I guess by name would work fine, and see how that works out within the app. So we're not gonna build any UIs today. It's gonna be like purely Node.js based, right? So we're just gonna use console, I think. And yeah, let's just see how that goes. So caveat, we are getting autocompletion from TypeScript. So none of this would be possible in the first place if we did not have TypeScript available to us. I'm not, again, I want to stress this enough. I'm not saying TypeScript is bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't use it. If it works for you, amazing. Problem I had with TypeScript is that more often than not, you typically hit the walls where either tools or libraries don't support it, and then you spend a lot of time just unnecessarily creating the typings for those existing tools, right? So this is kind of my gripe with it. Or fixing the tools and try to marry them with TypeScript, which more often than not actually results with those tools not working with TypeScript at all. So yeah, my idea is essentially that JSDoc probably could provide decent enough experience so that if you know that something is not going to work with TypeScript, you can just opt in for using JSDoc instead. And this is what we're going to try out and see if that is indeed the case. So I'm going to start with the JS package here. I'm going to add the main and say that we are pointing to index.js here, right? I think we do need some dependencies. So essentially the idea, as I said, is to build this Pokemon API, right? So we're gonna grab this thing here. Come on, this is the base. Const base URL. I think we need some sort of a library that would let me think. So we want let me just quickly throw this together so that I don't forget how it structures basically. Right, and then there's going to be the name here at the end. Okay, so we need some library that we're going to use across all the project, or all the libraries, I guess, to query for stuff, right? So we need to send this request, and let's just take something small and something preferably with TypeScript so that we have, you know, additional auto-suggest coming from that library. Okay, let me think. So node.js, what is the like, I know that there's like Axios and other things that are really big, such as requests. I mean, we could use God, for example. It's gotta be something pretty small. Like, I keep forgetting, there was stuff from Luke Edwards that I remember he did something like really small and really fast. Hey Dmitry, welcome to the stream. Yes, I'm also finally too happy to be able to stream again. I think I might as well just start taking some painkillers and doing the streams anyway, because it looks like I'm not gonna get, you know, feeling better this year around. It's not been fun. Okay, let me see. Serve Rosetta, HTTP. Oh yeah, that was HTTP thing. Let me see. So the GOT, I think they've rewritten it in TypeScript. Yes, so the GOT is purely TypeScript, and this one is purely JavaScript. Right, let's go with GOT because why not? Like, it's a nice library. We will not be using I guess probably 95% of what it has to offer. Wait a second. There was smaller Axios. Node.js, Axios small. There was like a smaller slice version of Axios. I don't remember who did it. Simple custom fetch wrapper. No. I remember covering it on BxJS. But you know what? Whatever. We can just use God.js, right? We don't really care about that right now. Yarn workspace, TS lib. No, we are going for JS lib first. Adds, and then we're gonna get GOT. I think it's just called GOT, right? Yes. Cool. So I'm just gonna add the GOT there. And we now have it in our workspace. I'm doing it in the wrong place. Okay, I should probably move that over here. There we go. Yes, we don't have to touch this, and move the main there as well. I should, man, I need to, how do I do this so that I don't get confused by the things? I guess this should work, right? Okay, so we got God.js, which means that we can, while we're at it, you know what? Let's use ES modules, because why not? So we can say that if you never worked with modules in Node.js, this is something that it now basically supports out of the box, which means that you can just say that your package is type module. If I remember that correctly, let me just double check in the documentation because I keep messing up the property that you have to set. Blah, 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 type. Yes, exactly. So you set type module in package.json, and now we can just say import got from got, and we can just use that, right? So, and we can also use our really nice export syntax, which is a lot nicer than actually using exports and so on and so forth. Oh yeah, right, Reduxios, thank you. This was the library. Is it also TypeScript? No, it's not TypeScript. Okay, so we're gonna go with God.js purely because it is TypeScript and has a TypeScript definitions, and I want to see the does it work transitively if you use the JavaScript and TypeScript lib as the sort of thing that invokes it basically. Okay, so let me think. So what do we need to do? We need to get Pokemon, right? And then we're gonna have a function that takes in a name, and it does where? Oh, right. I keep forgetting that I have the auto imports formatting that basically kills all unused imports, and it keeps removing them when you do that. And I cannot remember for the life of me that you actually have to first use it somewhere and only then hit save. All right. So is going to be relatively straightforward, right? It's also going to be a sync function because I am too lazy. Await okay, const results. We're going to await this. I think you can just say JSON. Yeah, there we go. And so now here's the deal. Let me think for a second. So we need something a bit more complex, right? So we could, of course, just do this. And that probably will work, right? So if we go get Pokemon, like EV, I think this is how you type every time. Like, you know what, Pikachu? I know how to type Pikachu, right? Pikachu. Do I know how to type Pikachu? Probably yes. Then, okay, results, console log, result, right? So if we do that, this should work perfectly fine. If I go here and do node.js lib, index.js, and there we go. So it actually works. It does return us the full-on objects. This is the JSON essentially that we get from the endpoint with the abilities, with base experience, with whatever, right? Let me see. Yes, ES modules work in a node out of the box now. There is nothing else set up, so the only thing you need to do is flip the type module right now. Caveat here is that not all the tools work right now with that. There is a bunch of things basically, like, I think just recently added support, but there's a bunch of tools that essentially don't support this and just fail if you try to do that. But we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. You can return directly, that is true, but we are going to modify that result because we want sort of a more complex setup here. So we have this function, right? And we're going to have another thing. We're going to have a class definition. This is going to be called the Pokemon. It's going to have a bunch of things. And we're going to essentially, so what I want to test is I want to test the JSDoc definition for a complex structure like a class and see how that will be auto-completed, right? So this is kind of the gist here. Right, okay, so we got the result, which means that we can just throw it into our class, right? So say new Pokemon results, and then we return Pokemon. So this is kind of the idea. Okay, and then what do we want to do? Classes. Yes, classes. Again, I'm not a fan of that. I mean, most of the time you don't really need them. But in this case, I just want to see how the typing and definition would work over that. So we are going to go with classes. Okay, let me think. So we got what? This is, I guess, I think the API had the structure actually. So what do we have? We have abilities. We have forms. Holy shit, there's so much information about Pokemons, god damn it. Okay, so we got types, name, normal. Yeah, I guess we can just use like most of that stuff in a relatively simple way. So let me think. So we got abilities, right? We can start with this. Okay, let's say, so this one has abilities, which is an empty array for now. I probably mistyped that as well. Abilities. There we go. Okay, so we got abilities, and there is, okay, so I think we're just gonna care about the names of abilities. So it's basically just gonna be an array of strings, right? So we're gonna initialize it with an empty. Now, you know what? We're not gonna do that. We're just gonna leave it empty for now. Okay, forms. What the hell is forms? I guess this is the evolution. Yeah, okay, so we don't care about that. That's too complex. We're gonna keep it simple. Game index, blue. Okay, so this is the games it's included into. Yeah, let's do the games, right? Again, also gonna be an array of strings. Nothing fancy here. Collapse that. Held items. Okay, sure. Items. Again, array of nothing for now. Moves. Right, so moves is going to be array of strings. Okay, so it seems like most of that is going to be array of strings. And then sprites. That actually sounds like a fun little thing. So we can basically have a sprites, which is going to be array of objects. Back, front. Okay, so there is a structure here. So we got the default female shiny and shiny female and either back or front views. How do we do that? So we got the default. I guess this is going to be an object, right? And so what we got a default. We got female. Yep. We got, nope. We got shiny. And we got shiny female. The naming though, female. There we go. I guess using camel case would be a bit nicer just to be consistent. Okay, so, and then we got the front and the back, right? So this is sort of the structure that we want to have here. I'm just gonna do that. Okay, this looks fine. So we got those properties, stats. Let me think. So what do we got here? This is base stat effort. What the hell is effort? Name and base stat. Okay, you know what? So yeah, I guess the stats we don't care about. That's too complex to model right now. So we just want types essentially, right? So types, and move it up here. That seems complex enough for us to describe, right? Which means that here we say this abilities equals data abilities. So how does it give it? I think it's an array of things. And then we got the, okay. So we map that to item, guess slots, right? It will be slots dot ability. No, come on, I can type sometimes. Name. All right, so that should do it. So we got slot, ability, name. Perfect. Okay, so this will give us the list of abilities. This games is going to be, again, the same. Data games. I think it was called something like game indices. Yes, game indices. Okay, we're going to map over that. Slot to version name. Okay, so we got slot version name is what we want. Okay, items. Whoops. It's gonna be data. So where's our items? Held items. Map slots slot. Item name. Okay, item name. So it's just gonna be basically a bunch of strings, right? Nothing super complicated here. Okay, so we got moves. Data, what was the moves? Moves map slots. Okay, so what do we have here? Move name. All right, so far pretty straightforward, right? We got types. By the way, creating the TypeScript library is going to be a lot faster because we're essentially just going to copy paste this code and then extend it with types, right? Which in this case should be relatively easy for us. Data types map slots to slots. What is it? Type name, right? Okay. And then we got this sprites, which is this. Okay, so this has to be mapped 1-to-1. This sprites defaults front. Okay, this is gonna take some time. Right, let me just, how do I do this properly? Boy, okay. This is not gonna be fun to write, but fine. We can deal with it somehow. You know what? I can collapse the left sidebar. I don't need it now, right? There we go. That looks good. Okay. Yep. That looks good. So front defaults. There we go. And then we got the same for defaults back. Right, back defaults. There we go. So then we got this sprites female front, right? Front female. Okay. If you noticed, like, the awesomeness of TypeScript, in my opinion, is the fact that even now we didn't even annotate anything, right? So it just tells us, hey, this actually it even understands that this is a string already. So even without doing too much, we still get decent auto-completion with the current version of TypeScript, which is pretty damn great in my opinion. Shiny front. Okay, so we got that, and we got back. Yep, and now we just copy that. It's gonna be shiny female, shiny female, shiny female. That was the back, and that is the front. Okay, so this should actually complete our class, right? So it doesn't really do anything, but we should now get the customs. No, front default is not defined. Oh, right, of course. That should be. I screwed up, so there should be data sprites right front. Yeah, I think this is what it should be. There we go. So we got our structure, we got our strings, we got decently complex structure with sprites, which look fine, right? Oh yeah, you know what? We probably should save the name of the Pokemon as well. So we're gonna say name is this, and then we're gonna say it's gonna be name and then data, right? So just gonna say name and then results, and now we should have. There we go, and then we should have the name. I forgot to assign it, of course. Of course I did. There we go. Okay, cool. So we got our nice class with Pokemon. It now has the name, has the abilities, all the data. Okay, cool. So we got this. We can remove. I mean, I guess let's just leave it for here for now. Now we need to do some JSDoc typing, right? So, right. So it gives param, which is a string in this case, and then gets the Pokemon. Pokemon is not a word. Pokemon data. I guess the Pokemon instance, I guess, right, by name. Okay, and then we gotta say returns. So here's the deal, right? You can actually say that we are returning specific class here without having to. Okay, so here there's two things. First of all, you can actually define custom types using JSDoc, so that's possible. I did not know that until I think a few months ago when I started reading about that, but you can define custom types. The cooler part is that you can literally say that this returns a Pokemon, right? Which is like a full-on class with its own definition, which is great. Okay, so we can... no, oh, come on. I wanted to do this. There we go. Pokemon instance with data. I am the worst commander ever, but that is fine, because we don't really care about that right now too much. So what we care about is mostly, I think this is how you define it, if I remember correctly. Yes. I think it's also you have to, is it lowercase? I keep confusing things. I think it is lowercase, right? Yes, it is lowercase. Okay. Okay, so this is a string. This is now, whoops, that is not what I wanted. Oh, come on. All right, so this is going to be type array. Oh man, how do you? Oh, I think you can just do that if I remember correctly. Yes, you can. There we go. I think that works. Wait a second. So let me just clarify with the JSDoc. There is a type, and type is array of Michael. Okay, so this is the other way around, right? So this is what we want, right? Yes, there we go. So this looks correct. Okay. Is the extension for JSDoc for VS Code? Yes. So I'm using, I think it's called document this, if I remember correctly. Document this. Yes, there you go. So this is basically the, I think it's not just for JavaScript, or is it just for JavaScript? I don't remember. Yes, it is JSDoc. So I think there's a bunch of them, and maybe this is not the best one, but this is the one that I had installed for like ages. It's decently handy, and we're just gonna roll with it. So it seems to be doing, you know, the decent job at it. Okay, Pokemon name. Very descriptive description. List of Pokemon's abilities. Okay, I think I'm gonna separate them with one line just to be make it a bit nicer. List of games with current, I guess, for current Pokemon. Okay, and we're gonna have a type that is gonna be a string array, right? Okay, whoa, no. Okay, so I guess we can just copy paste this and say that list of items held by current Pokemon, list of moves current Pokemon is capable of, list of types for current Pokemon, and then we got this thing. Okay, this is a collection of sprites, right? It seems too much of extra work than TypeScript. No, it's not. It's absolutely not too much of extra work. Like TypeScript, in TypeScript, we're gonna do at least the same amount of work. And the thing is that this will work with any JavaScript library and tooling that you have, right? Because like we annotated this stuff now, I can just hover over this and will tell me, hey, this is this thing, it has this type. And once we start using this in TypeScript, so the idea is actually to use the JavaScript lib in TypeScript app and TypeScript app and JavaScript app and see how that compares, basically. But anyway, we're going to get there, right? So we're going to annotate this. This is going to be, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter here because probably it's better to annotate it on top here. So we want this complex type, which basically says that this is default front string. I think this is how you do it. I am not 100% sure. I remember it was something like this, basically. Female, shiny, and shiny female. Shiny female, yes. I think this is how you define compound types, but I am not sure. I probably should look at the JSDoc optional parameters. No, that's not what I want. I want complex types. How do I define a... Oh, right. It should be 2 brackets. Right, there we go. This is what I want, right? Okay, so I think this now... Yeah, there we go. See? So now I basically have the same definition as you would get in TypeScript, but all in our nice JavaScript without any additional tools. And this is literally just a comment that can be stripped. All right, cool. So we got... Oh, yeah, we should probably do this for the constructor as well. Creates an instance of Pokemon. Yes, perfect. Name is a string. Data is an object. Well, obviously we could, in ideal world, we actually would describe the object as something, you know, more of than just, hey, this is an object. But in this case, that's fine. Okay, so we got that. We annotated this. This looks fine. Okay, cool. So we've written the basic version of our JavaScript library, right? Let's do the same, but for the TypeScript library. So I'm going to create, whoops, nope, that's not what I want. We want to create index.ts, right? And I'm going to throw this here. Right, we need to add yarn out workspace ts lib. So we need to add the got.js there, right? And we can close this now. We can get this. We can say that main here is gonna be dist index.js. So we're gonna compile that. So we're gonna add scripts. We're gonna add build scripts. That is gonna be tsc index ts, right? So this is what we need to do. We also need to create ts config. No, wait, JSON, right, is what it's called. Okay, what do we need? I forgot how ts config looks. ts config. So what is the basic level of stuff we need to put in there? Exclude. Yeah, so we need... Yes, I'm just not... Okay, of course you have to copy the whole damn thing. Okay, so we don't need to exclude anything. We just need to include index.ts and that's it. And we need to output into dist index.js Remove comments. We don't need to remove comments. Okay, yeah, so just save that. We also want to have strict true. Gonna run in strict modes. Modules are gonna be where's common.js is what we want, right? So this is gonna be the, oh no, wait a second. We want ES 2000 or 2020, I guess. What are you complaining about? Specify the module generation can be used AMD and C. Oh, okay, so AMD and system. Okay, I guess system is what we want then. But we had system before, right? Oh, it's the lowercase system. Okay, fine. Right, there we go. This seems to be working fine. Now we need to. Okay, so God does not include type declarations, which is surprising since it's written in TypeScript. I thought it would ship with type declaration. Okay. Types got, is that a thing? Of course, you cannot search for that. Google, yes, it is a thing. Okay, sure. Let's add dev types got, right? So luckily for us, we only need types for got.js here. Or, oh, no. Okay, now it picks it up. Okay, cool. We got that, which means that we no longer need any of those comments. We're gonna define a bunch of types and stuff here. What is this thing that it says? What is this error here? JSDoc may be moved to... Oh, okay. So it basically says, hey, you have JSDoc, but you can actually convert it to the types, which is kind of cool. I dig that. Okay, so we got this, we got that. All right, so now let's start typing this. It's going to be string. JSON. JSON does not exist on promise got type string. Oh, what? Are you kidding me right now? Oh, there you go. So this is like, this is the things that basically annoy me about TypeScript. I'm guessing this basically happens maybe because the got typings are outdated or something. So here's the question. Wait a second. So we got got.js 11.5. Got types is 9. So I'm guessing those are really outdated, right? What? There we go. Okay, so we remove them. Now, I am also guessing that now... Okay, so any. All right. Got and corresponding type declarations. Did I add? I add the got it. Sorry, this is the TS lib. Did I add the got here? Yes, I did. Okay. Why is it not picking up types here? Got in TypeScript. So this is definitely old. Alpha version 10. Okay, so version 10 should include them. We're already at version 11, which means they should be in there, but well, okay, so what are you not liking? Let me try to open code in maybe TS lib. Maybe it's just the VS Code thing. You just not digging the... Cannot find module got or its corresponding... Oh, okay, I guess maybe this is the issue with Yarn Workspace. No, it's probably Yarn Workspaces. Yarn Workspace TypeScript. So how to use Yarn Workspaces with TypeScript? Again, you know, this is kind of the friction you get while working with TypeScript. References. Okay, so I guess you want to do that. Is that the thing? tsconfig. References path. I think it installs the node modules on the top level. Is that right? No, it's not. So where are we? We got the node modules here, right? But we also should have them in the TS lib itself. Yes, we do. Okay, so and there should be node modules, and it's empty. Okay. So how do I tell it? So descriptions, exclude, include, file, references, path, client, path, command, tsconfig, packages, JSON. Okay, node setup. Right, so how do I... Oh boy, come on. Does anyone work with Yarn Workspaces in TypeScript? How do I tell it to use the definitions from the parent folder? Path client. So he has this client folder. Do I just say this? You're gonna be happy with that? Reloads. Let's just reload window. Maybe it should refresh it. But it should reread the config automatically, right? The TypeScript. Come on. Are we good now? TypeScript language service died 5 times. Okay, that's definitely not good. Right. Node modules and restart TS server. Are you still dead or what? Seems like it is still dead, so let's reload the whole damn thing. Okay. Where is my output? And where's my logging via IntelliCode TypeScript? There we go. Too many crashes. Okay, and it doesn't say why it crashes. Okay, interesting. All right, time to find TypeScript. Hey, by tennis. No, you are not late. We are just fighting TypeScript, trying to figure out how to marry it with Yarn workspaces because I decided for some reason to do a monorepo, which I guess it was my own fault for thinking that it would actually work. But TypeScript Yarn workspace example. There we go. Maybe this will help us. Okay, so there is a top level TS config. Right, this doesn't have any path or anything like that. So we got the packages, we got the common, got the TS config here, extends, compiler, declaration true. Okay. Doesn't seem like, let me have a look at this link, TypeScript Yarn monorepo workspace, okay? Yeah, okay, we did all of that, sure, we got the TypeScript there, yeah. So we did that, we got this is all fine, we got this, blah, blah. Transpiled code, yeah, we did that as well. References, path, okay. Was my references thing broken? Was that the problem? Shared, so what is this shared folder? Where are you coming from? Backend shared, okay, so this is, but this will just read the local stuff, right? Hey, Smart Roots, welcome to the stream. All right. So it seems like it should theoretically correctly pick up the typings, but let me just reload the window again. But for whatever reason, does it want the top level? Is that the problem? It just wants the TS config on the top level and then I just extend it? Is that why you are not happy about our... So I'm just gonna go that. I might as well just use this stuff, right? Because why not? So yep. Lib es next, common JS. We don't want common JS, we want system, I guess would work fine. Target es next. Lib, we don't need that. Strict module resolution. We do not need that. Es module interrupt, yes. Or consistent, yeah, okay, so this looks fine, and I guess here I say no, not exclude, extends, and we say as config JSON, right? So this is what you wanted. Are you good now? Reloads. Okay, let's try to reload it again. Hey me, welcome to the stream. Every time this username is just do you know the way? No, I don't know the way. Anyway, it still doesn't work. I'm feeling the pain. Yeah, like this is the... I think I already complained about this more than one time, but this is basically my main gripe with TypeScript, that this stuff just doesn't... It seems like it should work, like it should pick up the gods from the package we installed, right? Because it definitely has typings, but... Compiler options, reference. No, wait a second. It has different. So this is the root config. And then we have composite field true is required. So what does this do? It says the composite field. Okay, so we don't do extends, but rather we do composite. Whatever that does. Let me reload. Oh, whoops, no. Reload the whole thing again. and see if that's okay. So it initialized. No, it still doesn't pick up the got declarations, which is weird as hell, to be honest. Okay, let's see. So we can do references, right? Can I just say like node modules got? Wait a second. It's not the format. The references are path. Okay, so once you say path, this is a JSON. Would that fix it? Like reload the window again. TS server restart, not reload. But I mean, reload essentially restarts everything, right? So it shouldn't matter too much. And it seems like it crashes again. Okay then. TypeScript doesn't want to bend to user's will. It is the opposite. I mean, kinda, yeah. But why does it? So this, or is it just? Wait a second. Does it get the path from where I am right now? Is that what's happening? Because like I cannot see the damn log for it. So maybe the problem is that I'm using the path, assuming it reads it from this folder, but it actually reads from the project root. Unpopular opinion: the benefits of unit tests in TypeScript are lessened if the developers followed good coding practices and abstractions and discussion between the team. Kinda agree, but also disagree. But like without unit tests, you are not gonna get anywhere. Like there is no way to be sure your code works if you don't have any tests. Like maybe not unit tests, maybe integration tests, but you have to have tests that basically make sure your code works as expected. Extends tsconfig JSON, compiler options, output dir. Yeah, let's try, sure. Extends, so tsconfig JSON. Out dir dist. Include references. Okay, so this looks fine. Yeah, okay, let's do this. So this is what you're suggesting. Let's reload. Integration. Okay, got it. Yeah, I mean, unit tests are, yeah, sometimes is a bit too much. Like, depending on how you define the unit test, they can be definitely overkill. Like, testing every tiny thing is most of the time not really worth it. Like, mission critical things that have a lot of complexity, absolutely. Like, there are some functions that have to be tested, but I agree on that. Yeah. Okay, why the hell does it not working? Okay, I closed the thing. So if I open this, right? Dependencies installed using Yarn Workspace, so it is in Yarn Workspace, right? Like this is kind of why it happens in the first place. It's Yarn Workspace, and this is why it doesn't work. So we got the path, and then node modules. Yeah, so this fixes it now. Still doesn't pick it up. Okay, I have no idea how to make this work. If anyone in the chat knows how to make it work with got installed in Yarn Workspace and why it doesn't pick it up, even though here, everywhere it says it should work. So let's have a look here. TSC watch, tsconfig, sends compiler, this declaration true. Okay, is there is no. They got had separate types package for version 9 because it was written in JavaScript, but now it's written in TypeScript, so it literally ships with types inside. I don't know why it doesn't work. Let me see. So include a building, blah blah blah, monorepo, set up monorepo, Yarn Workspaces for serverless development. Okay, don't care about serverless as much, but I do care about... Okay, so this setup looks like what we have. Shared universal serverless, private, yeah. Okay, yeah, we got the TypeScript. So there's our... Yeah, this is the config. Okay. So let's... You know what? Let's just try to copy the whole damn config, because why not? Include index.ts. We don't have any specs, so I can kill that. Fine, if you are gonna... Are you kidding me? Okay, now it's working. So, did I need to... Wait a second, does it want me to... So, if I... Okay. Okay, sure. Alright, so if I do include index.ts and then exclude... Did it want me to exclude node modules? Was that the whole problem? Seems like it... No, No, it wasn't. It was something else. Okay, so which property of this actually works? So skip lib check resolve JSON module root dir. Okay, let's try. So is it a root dir? Are you fixing it? No, not root dir. Okay. Yes, module interrupt. We got that. Yep. Module resolution node. Is that what you wanted? Is it just module resolution? Really? Nope, not module resolution. Although, oh no, it is. Okay, so what was module resolution node? God damn it. All right. Well, we figured that part out. So what is okay? So this automatically tells us that it returns a promise with Pokemon. By the way, I screwed up our JS lib definition. We should say that this is a promise indeed, right? So it should be a promise that returns a Pokemon. There we go. This is what we want to have here. And I screwed it up, I think. Wait a second. Where's JSDoc? Promise. So wait a second. How do you properly type that in JSDoc? Promise return type. Okay. Returns, and is there an example for promise? Promise. It returns a promise. Yeah, but how do you say which? There's got to be a way of doing it. Hey, Gregors, welcome to the stream. Okay, promise my type. Promise. Okay, so that does work. I guess it's just the extension doesn't understand it. So you can do that. Okay, cool. So this is perfectly fine. All right, cool. So we type that. Now I guess we have to type the Pokemon. So this is a string. This is an array of strings. And we just basically do that for all of those. Okay, and here I guess we can just leave it for the Typescript compiler to figure it out himself. Basically, it's going to be the array of stuff, and then there's strings. It's going to be string, and this is going to be an object. Right, does not exist on type object. Can we just say any? I know that it will probably complain, but it's fine. Slot has implicit any type. Yes, you will have explicit any type because, again, theoretically, you would want to type it based on the shape of API responses, but you know, I don't want to spend 2 years doing that. We already spent long enough fighting TypeScript. So I'm good, you know. All right, here's a question. Do I need the top level config? Can I just kill that? We're still working? Yes, we are still working. Cool. We're gonna go with that. Now let's do yarn workspace tslib build. Okay. Cool. And we got index.js. All right, so this stuff is built. Looks okay. All right, and I guess we can just say, yeah, you know what? Let's just go with index.js. Why not? How do you generate? Wait a second. Typescript generates typings. I remember there was some command to do that, right? So it's like it doesn't really do it by default. You have to actually run something. Types. Okay, so we have to say that types is in index DTS. Your top level config had module resolution setting, it could work. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. We could have the separate configs. I don't think that's a big deal. Right, so how do I generate typings? Typings, types, dependencies, TypeScript, declaration. Oh, okay, so we need to pass the declaration flag. Okay, got it. Or was it, there's probably a config option for that, right? Okay. Declaration true. There we go. I assume what? Invalid prettier configuration file detected. Yeah, okay, whatever. Whoops, that is screwed up a bit. What is prettier for the range supported? That looks fine. I don't see any errors. Okay, let's try to build it again. I believe that typing's property in config should do it, right? No, it does not. Interesting. I assume this would actually generates corresponding DTS files. That looks correct, right? So where's my... Okay, sure. Minus D. Okay, let's try that. Are we working now? There we go. Now we generate the declaration. That looks good. Okay, cool. So we got this set up. We got the types link here. We got the... yeah, okay, this looks good. Okay, you know what? It's probably a good time to commit that. What do we need to ignore? We need to ignore tslib index dts. Or yeah, I guess it's not a good idea to ignore typings, right? So let's just go with whatever we have here. Okay. Create basic JS and no, god damn it. What is wrong with me? And ts libs. Okay. Find the commits. There we go. Right, so we created our libs. Time to build the apps. I guess let's start with JS app. Again, okay, so first of all, I want to say type module. We are going to be using ES modules because I just like them. And in our case, we can use them easily without any issues, right? So we are going to have a start thing here, which is going to be just node index.js. And yeah, right. So we should add yarn workspace, add tslib. Whoa, right. Yarn workspace JS app add tslib is what we want to do. Did it add? No, this is definitely a wrong version. Okay. I've added not the thing I wanted. What was it? Oh man, I keep forgetting. Yarn workspaces. There we go. And there was yarn workspace. Oh boy. The project adds dev blah 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 workspaces in yarn. What was the command to there was a command to add the sibling package, but I don't remember what was it. Workspaces, was it? Oh yeah, this one. There we go. So we did this, tips and tricks. Do you just write it down into package.json? What was it? That? Yeah, okay, I think it was that, right? So we just say the dependencies, say tslib 100, and then jslib 100. I think that should do it. And then yarn JS app starts. Okay, this is gonna work fine. tslib probably exists. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we're like in this case, we're only using it locally. We're not going to publish anything, because it's going to be okay. Right. So we're going to import. Okay, we're going to import from. Start with jslib. It already gives us. So this is our. What do you call it? This is our JSDoc stuff, right? And we already get full suggestions and immediately works. Okay, const, let's define a main function. Is going to be async. Top level async is still behind the flag, which annoys me to no extent, but you know what? That's fine. Catch error. Console error. Something blew up. Okay. Right, so we are going to get JS Pokemon. It's going to be wait, get Pokemon Pikachu, right? So it's going to be our JavaScript Pokemon. And in this case, can we get, so here's the question, JS Pokemon, so it works. Like we get all the properties. If I go to Sprites, we actually get all the suggestions here. They are ranked wrongly, but that's a problem with my IDE configuration. But it does actually suggest all of the properties. It shows them here without any problem. And we got this signature. So if I kill the Pikachu here, it does say, okay, so we got the name string here. Okay, Pikachu. Right, so there's another thing I'm interested in, which I haven't done. I should probably do that in both libraries, is I want to export the class itself. ESLib, export this. Build. Yeah, there we go. So in this case, it should link automatically. I think it does link automatically, yeah. So it's just, I shouldn't have tried to add it using the yarn add command, basically. Okay. And we get the Pokemon class here, right? Yep. Test Pokemon. Okay. And then data, yeah, obviously in this case, the data is going to be whatever. Obviously, this is going to actually fail and throw the error if we try to run that, because the data I am trying to run there, yep, so it's going to map of undefined, which is fine. But it does give us all the suggestions that you would expect to see from here, right? And if you do that, you actually get the full type annotation. You actually get the full structure definition if there is such. Again, this is all Typescript, right? So the Typescript is the tool that are giving us all these suggestions, but it still gives them even though we define them not using Typescript. Okay, so yeah, okay, got Pokemon from JS Pokemon, right? And then we're gonna have TS Pokemon. Okay, it's fine. Okay, import. Get, I guess that's say from TS lib, right? Get Pokemon as get TS Pokemon. So let's just rename it a tiny bit. Right, so we got this, yeah, it's more or less the same signature, which is makes sense. Think, do you spell Eevee like this? Here's the question. Yes, you do spell Eevee like this. Okay, so that should work. So got our TS Pokemon, and again, okay, so there's definitely something wrong with ranking in my auto suggestion results, but we get the Pokemon type, we get the same name definition. Okay, you know what I should have done? I shouldn't have removed the comments. I'm an idiot. We lost all this information that was right here, right? So we can kill it. Whoops, no, that's the wrong button. So we can actually have this info here without defining types and everything, because they are defined by the Typescript itself, right? So we can just do this. I just want to see basically, does Typescript? So I think unless you tell Typescript 2, it will preserve the comments, which means they should appear when you get the auto suggestions, right? Okay. I should not have removed this in the first place. That was solely my mistake for doing that. Okay, we also don't need, the good thing is that we, literally in some cases you don't need any type definitions because Typescript does it for you, which is kind of awesome, to be honest. Okay, we don't need that. And I guess in this case you probably want some description here, right? Pokemon name, Pokemon data. Okay, and here as well, name, Pokemon name, get Pokemon instance by name, and I cannot type. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I should probably rebuild that. So now we should theoretically have a nice, no, we are not. Where's my, yes, it didn't reread the, okay, so now it has the things, and there we go. Now it basically should have the nice, yep, okay, so we got our auto suggestion, we got our types, and everything else is in there. So log got Pokemon from TS, right? Okay, whoops, that is another thing that should be there. All right, so if we run that now, that theoretically should return us, no, it's not. Import pkg from tslib const what? Oh, because it's not. All right, so this is another thing. So the current way it generates the result, it uses the CommonJS. Yeah, okay, it's a CommonJS lib. And we want it to be I want this to be an ESNext lib, right? Would that work? Build. So how does this look? Exports, exports. That still looks like... This does not look like ESNext. ES module interop, model resolution node. So how do I tell it to produce me some ES2020? Is that what you want? Are we... no, that's still not it. It seems to produce CommonJS only. What is... specify module code generation. Okay. Yes. Okay, theoretically we want ES 2015, right? So this is the thing. What does ES module interrupt does? Helpers, run Babel ecosystem. So what if I disable that? Are you gonna work? All right, it still uses ES modules. Okay, module classic TypeScript. No, we need that because otherwise it breaks. Why is it? What is going on? Why is it produces the modules that are not anything I basically specify here? Okay, TypeScript output module format. Pillar options. Yes, this is exactly what I want. Do I just pass it a flag? It's amusing. I have a TypeScript config, but it doesn't seem to pick it up at all. Maybe it is because... wait a second. Is that because... yes, config JSON. Is that because... of... so if I do this, will it actually start working? Is that because it tries to pick up the config from the folder we're currently in? Is that the problem? Nope, that does not fix anything. Okay, well, the good thing is we can actually drop the ES module interop, I think, because first of all, we don't need it. Second of all, it adds a lot of those polyfills that basically we don't need, right? It still adds them, so we don't need this generator thing. And the waiter thing, is it like... how do I... module resolution node, okay, so why, what... I guess I can drop it from here. Is that what I need to do? Like, I don't understand the way TypeScript works, you know, looking at this. ES module true. Okay, so it does say that this is ES module true. Does that mean that it actually works fine now? Wait a second. I kill that, we run the builds. Yeah, okay, so we got the ES module true. Can we import it now? So would you work? No, so it's still not a real ES module, which is a bit of a bummer, but you know what? That's fine. Let's call it TSLib, and then let's just do that. It's a bit ugly, but that should work, right? There we go. Okay, so that works. There's our Pokemon from TypeScript. There's our Pokemon from JavaScript. Again, this is kind of like, probably there is a way to set up... wait a second. TypeScript config node.js ESM. Like, there's got to be a way to do that, right? It's like it's just silly if there's no interrupt. Publishing node modules with TypeScript and ES modules. Blah blah blah. Module CommonJS. That I don't want to CommonJS. I want the ES modules. Module ES 2020. Yes. ES module interrupt strict. Okay. What am I missing? That seems target ES 2015. Yeah, I mean ESNext should be fine, right? Minus P. Oh, can we wait a second? Is that because I'm not passing the config explicitly? So if I say minus P config JSON, what if I do that? Project cannot be mixed. Oh, okay. So I need to do that, and then I need to say that. Yeah, okay. So just this basically, right? There we go. Now it works. So it wasn't picking up our config correctly. Okay. Okay, got it. Theoretically, we should now be able to revert this. And it should now start working as expected. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah, right. Because we need to say that the type module here, right? Because this is also my fault. So I have not defined that as a module. There we go. It works. Cool. We defeated that, so we got that working. I mean, again, I don't really see that much difference in terms of auto suggestion, auto completion here from the TypeScript side. Okay, so this is from JS app, right? So we equally have, well, more or less the same results, right? Let me just commit that. Basic JS app. I guess using TS and JS libs. Okie dokie. All right. Let's try to do the TS app, right? Index TS. So what we need here, I actually don't need TypeScript there. I probably need TS node is what I want, right? So we're gonna do that. Then we're gonna have scripts. We're gonna have start, and it's gonna be TS node index TS. That's literally all we want. All right. We also need to say that we have those things in dependencies, right? Okay. I guess we can just copy that here, but here we're gonna do it a bit differently. So I'm just gonna do this. Okay. We got that, right? So let's check out what does it say. So this is our JavaScript, and it's actually right, because it doesn't have, so I thought it would pick up the, so, okay. So we're when we imported the libs from the JavaScript app, right? TypeScript that I use inside of VS Code for autocompletion picked up the typings from both JSDoc and TypeScript. When we're importing things from TSLib, it does pick up the typings from TypeScript lib, which is, makes sense because there's this index.dts file that has all of them, right? So I assume that if we start to do like TS Pokemon, we're gonna get all those properties. They're actually a lot cleaner than the stuff that it predicted in the JavaScript, but we should try to tweak the config a bit to see if that helps. But yeah, this is basically, so it does show us all the definitions, show us all the structures, show us everything that we basically expect, right? So, and if no, I don't need TypeScript. If I import the Pokemon class here, I assume that it will basically say, yeah, so there we go, there's the name and data. All looks great, right? But it doesn't import anything for JS Pokemon, even though there are JSDoc types. Here's the question, TypeScript, JSDoc type. There's gotta be some way to do that, right? Type checking JavaScript files. Okay, so this is the check.js thing. This is exactly what we're using to get auto suggestions, right? But what I want is TypeScript JSDoc import type. Prior syntax for JSDoc types import. Okay, type def import from my types. What does this do? Wait a second. The current where JS land for type declared in DTS. Okay, so this is again DTS. So this is a separate declaration. Am I getting it correctly that it basically cannot import the JSDoc types into TypeScript, but can do that in JavaScript? Like, are you for real? Okay, so this is all just like the JSDoc discussion, basically showing how it's goes into the TypeScript lands. TypeScript want import JS. Yeah, there you go. This is exactly what we want, right? So we got the JS file with TypeScript definitions, and then when we try to import it, we get freaking nothing. No, it seems like he does import them for him. TypeScript was able to properly import JSDoc from imported module in case of is the following file structure. Am I just missing some property or something? Okay, right. I should probably, you know what? I should probably create tsconfig first of all. Module resolution no, declaration true, so we don't need that. Okay, how about right? Cannot find declaration. Okay, so now it complains about declarations, but it still doesn't tell us anything. Okay, so is there some property? Allow JS. Allow, okay, is it like JS? So what can we do? Allow JS, check JS. Check JS. Maybe this is what we want? Are you gonna... Google for TypeScript plus JSDocs. But I mean, this is exactly what I did here, right? And then there's a guy here with a project where he actually does get... No, there's all JavaScript, so he doesn't actually get them. So those are the different errors. Target AS6, max depth module. TypeScript, JSDoc, better docs. Like my so the thing is that React, yeah, okay. React, blah blah blah, JSDoc minus C. This seems to... That's not it. Okay, let me try Google. There we go. Okay, so there's the article. Okay, JSDoc with TypeScript. How it works, converts to type def. But this is additional actions, right? So it's like, hey, you can do that, but you have to transpile some stuff again, which like it works in JavaScript. Why doesn't it work in TypeScript? Implement JSDoc import tag. Okay, this is blah blah blah, JSDoc style name path. No, this is something different. This is not what we want. Okay, so this is basically extension for JSDoc. No, JSDoc import type def. Okay, JSDoc type def types. How the hell? Like, if that's not like that's just silly if it's not supported. Supported JSDoc. Okay, let's try, you know what, let's try changing the, so we got the check.js, right? And we got the allow.js as well. Maybe this is what you want. So what if I reload the whole thing to make it reread the config? Come on, start up the server. Okay, yeah, sure. You couldn't find the declaration. That is perfectly fine. But you don't even try to, like, my problem with it is that it doesn't even try to reason. Resolve JSON module. Okay, let's try this. Max module depth. That's something that will help us. Nope. It doesn't seem to pick up the JSDoc at all. This is just silly. So if you use the TypeScript in JavaScript, you get all the nice auto-completion and everything. Well, okay. Not quite all, right? Because for whatever reason, my auto-completion is a bit broken here, so I have to tweak it a bit. Not sure why. I guess, but this is a config issue essentially, right? But if you try to do the same thing in TypeScript, it just doesn't give you any. It doesn't even understand that this is a... Why? I don't understand. How do you... is there a node.mon alternative for TypeScript except TS Watch? I don't know. Doesn't TS Node support TS Nodes? Wasn't there a flag for TS Node like Watch where you can just do that? Eval print. I mean, TSC also has the Watch flag, right? So it's like I'm asking. So chat, if you know any good alternative for to node.mon for TypeScript, please let Amalav know, because I'm not using TypeScript that much. And maybe you have a better understanding of the tooling in it. Okay, so let's see. Generic in JSDocs. TypeScript with JSDocs. Require moments. Okay. Moment.js, it has some amazing typing system. Moment.js code has typing file code. Okay, so again, DTS. So I guess the solution is to generate the DTS from JSDoc. Is that the thing? No, okay, this seems to actually pick it up. This is a small trick. VS Code search is only typing with files, blah blah blah, require import. You want to get defined type explicitly, first line JS documentation. Okay, I feel like my script blocker is blocked something helpful here. Let's have a look. Is there like gist here or something? Nope. Module will be named. First create definition file. The module will be named. It describes exported value. Shows simplest example. Type import useless. Okay, so you still have to. So there's no way to tell TypeScript to basically look at. Yes, I just flipped the check.js to true, and after that it basically started complaining that, hey, you don't have any type definitions, right? Okay, type annotation in JavaScript files, generating documentation for projects. That's not what I want. Type checking JavaScript files. I guess this is kind of what, yeah, but we have this check.js enabled, right? So can it be that something with my, so settings, user settings, there we go, TypeScript, yes, okay. Maybe it's just something to do with my TypeScript settings in the VS Code itself. Insert, okay, open braces, semicolons, check.js, enable. Let's try enabling it this way. Still doesn't work. Okay. Implicit project config, experimental decorators, don't care about that. Auto, but I mean, it should theoretically pick up the config we created, right? So that should not be a problem. Code lens, yes, let's do that. Show on all functions. Complete function calls. Blah blah blah. Disable automatic type acquisition. Workspace JSDK, insert space. Okay, so I tweaked some settings here, not too many of them. Enable, disable implementation code lens. Show implementation of an interface. I don't think we need that. npm auto quad style code reference code lens. Imports complete function complete. Yeah, there you go. Enable, disable suggestions to complete. Oh no, okay. JSDoc comments. I see. Seems there's only hacks to solve. This is just silly. Like. Want to import JSDoc types from JS file and node modules. Okay, so this is exactly what happens, right? Oh, this was the error here. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Update when using blah, 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 main source. Da, da, da. An option in TS compiler, max.js modules depth. But like we just set it to 5, it doesn't help. Okay, target EF6, updates, create node modules. I'm using TypeScript, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Here's the question. Yeah, this is the question. Wait a second. So what if I just create a dummy DTS file here? Would that actually help? So we go into the JS lib, right? Create index DTS. So how does DTS look? Export, declare, okay. So I don't want the full declaration. I basically just want that should work, right? So I just want to basically declare that, hey, there is a class and there is a function. Okay, I guess you cannot do. Keep scrolling, okay. Type def. Type def doesn't seem to recognize. Same problem. Blah blah blah. Solution include source, include down level iteration, allow JS, no. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, let me kill the DTS file. Check JS, allow JS, so JS lib JSDoc imports, right? So, okay, are we any? Nope, that doesn't help. This works. Okay, and then this is because, okay, so maybe we need, oh, he literally includes it into the, we can try, of course, but that feels, yikes. Okay, node modules, like we literally know what we need to include, right? JS lib index.js. Come on. Let me reload and hope that it doesn't crash. Okay, no, that doesn't help. That actually doesn't work. Is it because, wait a second, is it because, so if I do this, okay, this works. Okay, so if you literally include your file, it still complains that there's no declaration, but it works. Oh my, okay, this is like, why doesn't it just read JSDoc by default? This is so silly. Okay, but let's just check. JS, Pokemon. Yeah, okay, right. So now we get all the stuff with the type definitions and everything here, which is great. Names, so there should be an array of strings. Yeah, all right. That is very hacky. I totally agree. So Pokemon, but it does now suggest everything that is in the package. So that's, I guess, yeah, that works. Oh boy, okay, that is not not convinced that this is a nice way of doing that. Okay, so basically, yeah, I guess that's fine. Okay, so let me just, here's the question. So I guess we don't really need that, right? That works fine, that works fine. Are you not complaining anymore? Yeah, so this looks okay. So now we're working. All right, let's just commit that. No, I cannot type apparently. Git commit. Basic TS app with JS lib and TS lib. Okay. Fine. Right. So what are our conclusions here? Well, amusingly enough, TypeScript seems to work a lot better in JavaScript environment with JSDoc than in TypeScript environment. And essentially you get the same auto-completion experience. Hey, I did something and now it is a lot better in terms of auto-completion. So tweaking those settings did a better job for me. Okay. So you actually get a better experience with auto-suggestion while using JSDoc and TSDoc in JavaScript files, with obviously TypeScript server handling that for you, than in TypeScript files, which is just bonkers. You have to do workarounds to actually make your JSDoc annotations work in TypeScript. It is, you forgot to add the plus back. What did I write there? I already forgot. TSLib, basic TS app. Plus back. What do you mean plus back? I don't get, I'm I think my head just stopped working from all of that stuff. I'm sorry. Oh, hack. Okay, hack makes more sense here. Yeah, that's definitely hacky, man. Like, you see, so it sounds like it should be a trivial thing, right? And for people who keep saying that, oh, but you need TypeScript for type safety and type safety is gonna save you. I already showed the link in the beginning, right? Dynamic static typing. There's this literature review that shows that no, static typing does not mean less bugs. You get exactly the same bugs unless you have good tests. You're going to end up with exactly the same problems, and the static typing does not save you from anything significant. So I honestly don't know if it's worth doing TypeScript unless you're starting from scratch and unless you know for sure that all the tools that you're going to be using work well with TypeScript. And so far, from my experience, that's not have been worth it. Like, most of the times I've tried to use TypeScript, I always hit the walls with like, hey, actually this tool you want to use doesn't really work with TypeScript, so you're going to have to find a workaround, or you will have to, I don't know, fix it or add your own typings or whatever, which means that you have to spend time by fixing TypeScript. And, you know, if you can get the same level of auto-completion, again, from TypeScript, which is awesome, by just getting JSDoc in, why the hell not? Are JSDocs and TS working together? So JSDoc and TS are working together. In case where we will look at the JavaScript app, what we actually get here as auto-completion is coming from TypeScript compiler that reads the JSDoc, right? So they synergize amazingly well in JavaScript world, which just makes it more funny, I think. In TypeScript world, yeah, it kind of also works. Obviously, it complains about the absence of proper types, but yeah, it's not straightforward, man. I never suspected it would be this weird. But yeah, I believe Google solved it really well when they said saved X% of bugs that compile. Google solved, but the TypeScript is Microsoft thing, right? And yeah, sure, it can save you. So like my perspective on TypeScript and type safety and the strict definitions for things is that essentially if you have a really large team and you have a very diverse range of people working on the product, right? Be it like a ton of juniors, ton of senior developers, ton of middle developers, and all of them have wildly different skills and they all have to work on one code base, then something like TypeScript can help a lot simply by enforcing the standard, like because you define an interface and everyone has to conform to that interface, right? And this is just sort of the discipline thing more than anything else, right? So I can see it being helpful in cases like this. Also with things like, you know, you can define enums, you can define different specifically shaped thing, again, interfaces, types that you basically force people to use. I totally believe that this can save you a lot of time when you work in a large team on a large product with people who, for example, just getting started with JavaScript and they don't know how to structure their code. They get confused by a lot of, you know, like what do they pass to function, and TypeScript can definitely help in these cases. But if you're working on a product in a small-ish team, like, you know, the teams that I typically work with people who are decently experienced, and you don't start from scratch and you cannot pick all the tools that work with TypeScript, I would not pick it. Like, it just maybe. So there was another opinion piece I read recently that essentially said that, hey, there's a lot of people saying that you should use TypeScript with strict true for strict type checking and enforcing, you know, all the like type everything, make sure everything is typed. And this is what turns a lot of people off because it forces you to a lot of things. And the author was arguing that you basically should start without strict true and just use TypeScript as it works by loosely adding types here and there and then letting TypeScript do everything else. But so the point here is that on one hand, I can see that might work a lot better for some people, right? But my problem with TypeScript was never with adding types. Like, I worked with like statically typed languages a lot, C#, Objective-C, whatever, right? And you always have to define those types. You always have to write them, the shapes. It's fine. The problem is that TypeScript does not really interrupt that well with the ecosystem, right? So like if you want to take a TypeScript and make it work with your favorite testing tool and your favorite testing tool does not support TypeScript, you're going to spend days trying to make them work together. And I tried it a couple of times. I don't want to try it anymore. Yes, I've already had some comments and they work perfectly fine together with TypeScript and out of the TypeScript as well. So if you like look at the JavaScript, the JSDoc bits, they also work fine. So that's, yeah. Again, you know, I'm coming to the same conclusion I had before. It's like TypeScript might work well in some cases, but for most of the time, it just doesn't seem like it's worth it. Did you cancel the migration of XFrame to TypeScript? I still want to finish that. I just didn't have time lately. I need to make a video that's like... no, there will be a TS version of XFrame. I just want to finish it, you know, I guess out of principle, just to see how that will work out. I want to just, I want to finish it and see how that works out and see how is it gonna be in the end. Is it gonna be better? Is it gonna be worth? Is it really gonna give me any additional things that maybe once I finish building, I'm like, yeah, now I see the TypeScript is really good and I should be using it. But so far from all of my interactions with it, that was almost never a case. It's like I'm looking at it, yeah, like I kind of can see the benefits, but see you in 4 months. Yeah, that sounds about right. JSDoc really picked up recently since people are trying to migrate. But JSDoc didn't really go anywhere, right? The standard has been around for, yeah, so it's 20 years now, more than that, 21 year almost. And the latest release was a year ago with like some additional things. Like looking at all that stuff, I really feel like at some point we're just gonna get the statically typed mode for JavaScript itself. As in the TypeScript is gonna get merged into JavaScript, and we're gonna get like, we have now, if you look at the compiled TypeScript, okay, it's removed, but we got the use strict mode right now, right? So we got this use strict, and then you just have the strict mode, and I'm pretty sure that in some years we're gonna get use typed or whatever, and we're gonna get the inline type support in JavaScript, and it's probably gonna take some time for ecosystem to migrate, but it feels like this is where we're going to basically. I mean, before moving to TypeScript. Yeah, sure. But yeah, so okay, this is kind of the gist. Let me, I probably should push this all to GitHub. Again, I can see the value in it, but it's just still not convinced that, this is essentially the right tool for each and every project and that everyone should absolutely use it. I don't think so, honestly. Comparing TypeScript and JSDoc DX. Public, yes. So what I need a README here. README MD. Also need to shamelessly steal it from other repo. JSDoc just needs something for us to compare it to. After videos like this, we see the benefits. Can you write conclusions in README? Yes, I will probably do that, but I'll probably do that off stream because I don't want to sit here and mumble to myself for like 20 minutes. Untyped JSDoc TS. Yeah, pretty much. So like, but I think like in terms of typings, JSDocs gives you like, if again, we're looking here at the purely a developer experience, right? And I think in this case, JSDoc gives you better development experience than TypeScript because you don't have to fiddle with tooling to make it work. Like you literally just install the TypeScript plugin for VS Code and it gives you better development experience without having to fight the ecosystem to make your code work than the TypeScript, which is like, yeah. So there we go. Okay, so let me think. I want this to be that free. Okay. Comparing. No, I cannot type. Comparing developer experience between for JSDoc and TypeScript. There's current material for video. Okay, what is the URL for the video? Where do I get it? I get it on Discord. Okay. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, suggestions, or things you want to ask me, feel free to throw them into the chat right now. You have a couple of minutes while I'm committing all of that. Small demo showing differences between JSDoc and TypeScript DX while developing libs and apps in JavaScript and TypeScript. Okay, so we need the JSDoc here. We need TypeScript, and I think that should be good. Okay, JSDoc, TypeScript. Right, this is 1, this is 2. Okay, TypeScript. TypeScript lang org docs handbook JSDoc supported types. Yeah, I mean, there's not just some support. It supports quite a lot of that. It's obviously not everything because JSDoc has been like this. The new releases have stuff like generics and everything. There's like crazy shit in there. But like the fact that you had to fiddle so much just to make it work is just bonkers. Like why? Okay. Right. I guess conclusions. I will write that off stream, but okay, let me just commit that, I guess, the basic version, and then I can add git commit at basic readme. There we go. I think we may have forgot the power of Hasura last time. What do you mean we have forgot the power of Hasura? Schema creating from database. Oh, did it have a feature like that? Because I was just looking at it as a tool for starting from ground up, which is, you know, if it has the ability to automatically generate the schemas from existing database, that's quite awesome. If you use the Hasura interface. Okay, interesting. I need to have a look at that again. Like there's a potential project that I might start working on where we would essentially use Hasura to build GraphQL API from the existing REST API, which should be synchronized in real time, which should be very interesting to work on, basically. Not sure if it will basically go through or not, but we're gonna see. Okay. On the other hand, if MS keeps TS under the hood of VS Code and keeps improving it without any configuration, that will have... Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This is my point. Like, TypeScript has made VS Code amazing. Like, this is something that you cannot take away from it. We would not have such an amazing development experience in VS Code without TypeScript. Like this, all of those type things, all of the auto completion is powered by the TypeScript engine, and it is definitely amazing. I guess just there's a video about it. Yeah, sure, do share a link, please. I would love to have a look at that and learn more about Hasura, because like I'm really like it looks like a really cool technology, and I'm definitely interested in learning more about it. Okay. Right, so any more questions or suggestions, people, or we can just wrap it up here. That is, again, almost 2-hour stream, just comparing TypeScript. What am I doing with my time? But yeah. Okay, give you a couple more minutes. Meanwhile, I should probably start writing conclusions. Okay. What? No, that is not conclusions. And I guess a couple of bullet points would do it here. But yeah. Okay, doesn't seem like we have any more questions or suggestions, so thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you found something interesting here, maybe learned something new about JSDocs or TypeScript. If you want to discuss any of that, feel free to join our Discord server and talk to me there, or just leave a comment to the video if you're watching on YouTube. If you have anything to share, again, reach out to me on Discord or Twitter or whatever. That's basically it from my side. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Have an awesome rest of the weekend. No, sorry, it's not a weekend yet. It's Wednesday. What am I saying? Have an awesome rest of the week, and I see you on Saturday for BxJS weekly live stream. It's already weekend here, you know. All right, guys. Have a good day, and I see you next time.